Hello everyone and welcome to another BBC Clash review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Erling, and today we are reviewing episode 8, the series finale, called The Lost. Now, this episode was most certainly full of emotion,
Agreed.
and I suppose I could definitely say that in the majority of the spin-offs of Doctor Who, the opening to this episode was indeed one of the most emotional sequences ever.
Quite long as well.
Long, well,
The title sequence didn't start till how many seconds after it? How many minutes I should say?
it was only two. It was only 2 minutes.
It used to be quite quick on the other episodes. They were trying to build it up.
Well, this episode followed on from when Quill actually managed to crawl out of the cabinet, which I still have no idea how the hell that was possible, but
And
anyway.
they just jumped up.
And miraculously, well, not miraculously, but she got herself pregnant, because of course the time within the cabinet was a lot, well no, technically it was longer in the cabinet even though she didn't realise, but outside time wasn't really passing at all.
Didn't she go out? Didn't she go with that black man, whatever his name was? Forgot his name now.
I don't know
So I
his
think
name,
that was
but,
how maybe she's got pregnant then.
well,
I assume.
Well, no, apparently she was in the cabinet for a very long time, but she didn't realise, because a couple of seconds within the cabinet, for her body, so to speak, it's like 6 months. So you can, that's the way the logic kind of worked, kind of.
Yeah.
So after Quill managed to do that, she obviously passed out, and
In front of them.
surprisingly, Prince took care of her and nurtured her. But during that process, the Shadowkin, well, Korakinus specifically, managed to break through the tears of space and time and get back to Earth. His main mission was to retrieve April so he could keep her as his prisoner, therefore guaranteeing...
And therefore keeping her heart, yeah.
Yeah, and therefore guaranteed his position as king of the entire Shadowkin. So, I did think there was going to be some sort of invasion of the Shadowkin, but
Although it was thwarted, wasn't it, at the end?
it wasn't really an invasion. It was more like a threat. It was going to happen, but it didn't.
April did pick it up, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
And then she told them, and that was allowed them to stop it.
Stop it, and then obviously save the day. Although, of course, there were a lot of other things in the way there. The main thing we saw in this was the prince kind of turning from
The good guy.
the good guy, but the little boy that he was, so to speak, in that kind of characteristic, to kind of a big man who has now taken arms to defend the people he cares about, and more specifically, to take revenge, or take that vengeance inside him that he really wants to take, and obviously avenge
Attack
his people.
Shadowkin.
Yeah. So this episode kind of relied a lot more on emotion than anything else, and depending on what they do, obviously kind of created the outcome in the end. And of course the outcome was that the prince used the Cabinet of Souls to literally destroy and eradicate the entire Shadowkin out of the face of the universe. And of course that's the one thing that went through my mind was that no doubt the Doctor would be very disappointed.
In fact, I was hoping that we might be able to see him just show up as a cameo again.
I was as well, but of course...
But alas, alack.
Yeah, it didn't happen, unfortunately. But that sequence with the Shadowkin and the Cabinet of Souls, that was just mind-blowing.
Oh, it was fantastic, wasn't it? I never thought we'd actually see the weapon in action, but that was just... Wow. The amount of power it had, and then it destroyed an entire planet. Imploded it.
Literally.
It's fantastic.
It was really, really good. And of course, after the battle had won, even though it wasn't really a battle, April kind of died, but then came back as
The shadow.
Korakinus.
Yeah, as the shadow.
It seems that the consciousnesses has kind of, well, I wouldn't say swapped.
We saw one of the souls, didn't we? Head towards what's his face?
Ram.
Yeah. I'm terrible with names. And it must have gone into her, maybe, or
Must have done.
transferred their conscious or something.
But I think even if Quill hadn't have dragged him down to the ground, I think the soul still would have gone for them, because he thought originally that one soul was going to take his life as a punishment. But no, the punishment was in fact he was going to have to live with his judgment, with his decision.
Yeah. Of course. Mm-hmm.
And somehow, miraculously, April's switched from her body into a Shadowkin's body. So I heard that's going to carry on in the future in the second series. If they do make a second series, I have...
Oh, they are. I'm sure they are.
They have
because of the fact that the Weeping Angels are coming back.
Well, hold that for a moment. So, besides the gang coming back together again, and of course them having to deal with a lot of losses, Ram's dad and Tanya's mother, and of course her brothers almost got killed as well, you know, they had a lot to go through to kind of get to that point where they were, and of course the death of Tanya's mum kind of made her more for using the Cabinet Souls to eradicate them all. Even though I think personally she never would have chose that option, but alas, she chose to work with Quill to fight against them. And of course, the one thing in this episode, the one thing that really defined the plot, as I like to say, which kind of connects to the writing, which I'll talk about in a moment, is the very last bit. The governors. We've finally found out, well, I wouldn't say where they are, but I wouldn't say we've found out who they are. I mean, we don't even know if they're fully human. Are they human, do you think?
I wouldn't say so.
You wouldn't say so?
Just humanoid.
Humanoid figure, but that has never really been touched upon, but there's one thing that kept dropping out, the arrival.
Yeah, we didn't know what that was until then.
Initially I thought that the arrival meant the arrival of the Shadowkin. And of course when Charlie and Matthias went to the headmistress to kind of confront her and ask her for help, even she was surprised when she came out of that room. We've got a problem. So obviously something had gone down somewhere that they wasn't happy about. But
the problem that she was on about was the fact that they apparently had messed up and had made those little rips in space and time to allow them, not time, but space, to let the Shadowkin through by accident, and that's why she said that they'd made that mistake.
I think that all this has been their fault to begin with.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was, because they were interfering.
I think they must, I don't know what the governors did, but they must have set up a base of operations in the school and done some experimentation with some, I don't know, alien technology that they found, which is possible, and inadvertently created the tears in space and time. As the Doctor said, when Coal Hill got renovated or something.
It was built around, yeah.
So something's telling me that the governors have been there for a very long time. We just didn't know about it. Neither did the Doctor, which is a bit kind of odd.
Concerning.
You'd have thought the TARDIS would have at least detected that there's some part in the school that's giving off some weird temporal anomalies, but that didn't happen, did it? So,
but we finally found out what the arrival was at the very end.
And it's to do with the Weeping Angels.
I know. I'm really excited about that.
So the governors are, I suppose you could say, even though they act like rich, powerful businessmen, they're actually pawns, I think.
Yeah, pawns in the game of the Angels.
Now, remember one thing, and that's if Patrick Ness, has carried this idea on. In Series 5 of Doctor Who, right, the Weeping Angels came back, but they were able to come back in a way we'd never seen before. You know the phrase, the image of an angel becomes itself an angel?
Ah, yes.
Well, there was this kind of, if you remember in the very, very end, there was like a marble picture frame thing with a huge, massive angel overlooking a town. I think when that picture is complete, a great big massive angel's going to come back.
Maybe. That would be a very cool plot point.
And I would...
Because we have seen a massive angel before, the
Yes.
Statue of Liberty.
We have. But more to the point, in the second series, I would love to know how the hell the Weeping Angels came back. Or how they managed to get on Earth. Well, actually, no.
They appear to be everywhere, don't they? Do we know their original origins?
Yeah.
Because I've forgotten.
Wait, do we?
I don't know whether it was ever told. Was it ever told that there was a specific planet they were from?
I can't really remember very well on that.
Yeah, it's very hard to... I was talking to my mother earlier about that.
Quite unsure about how that's gonna... where that actually came from originally. But I would love to know how the governors have somehow made a pact with them. How can you make a deal in with the Weeping Angels?
They don't talk. Well, actually, no, they did talk, didn't they? They talked through that thing in that in that episode of Doctor Who. So perhaps
they are sentient.
Well, perhaps they have the communications directly to them.
Well, no, the fact of the matter is they are sentient beings. They can think for themselves. I mean...
Oh, I know that. But I mean, like, in communication, in two-way communication, we only heard them talking through that communications device in that Doctor Who episode. So I assume maybe the governors have the same, ability to talk to them through that.
Yeah, must do. But no, that was one hell of a twist at the very end. One hell of a twist.
I can't wait for season 2 for that.
Yep, neither can I. So, that's mainly on the plot. If you think about it enough, I mean, there wasn't so much... Well, there was action, but not so much action, but more emotion than anything else. Yeah,
it was based around emotion a lot, I think, today. I
think what this episode's done is definitely opened a doorway for series 2.
It has.
For more to explore and everything. So that's what I feel this episode was more focused on doing.
Yeah, because we've got the baby, we've got the new conscious going into Shadowkin, and we've got the governors, and we've got the angels. So there's effectively 3 or 4 points there that are going to have opened up season 2, and I can't wait. It's fantastic.
Quill. We've said time and time again. Me and you've given our opinions as to how we think she's going to be at the very end.
Yeah, I was wrong.
I think we've seen who she is and what she's going to be. Especially the point where Tanya came, and obviously she was upset that her mother had been killed. And you kind of saw more of a compassionate side to Quill then. She's still that hardened warrior inside, but I think she's
becoming more and more like a mother. I don't know if you're picking that up, but I am.
I didn't think about that, but now you're saying the word mother, yes. I think you've got
her baby is changing her emotional
way. And I think when the time comes, the rest of the gang will help her. Obviously, apparently,
try and survive that baby eating her.
Yeah. So that's the only person I really want to talk about. The rest of them, obviously, we've mentioned before, they haven't really changed except for April now, being as she's
now a Shadowkin.
Yes. But no, all in all, the writing of this was brilliant. Just everything.
Well, that's the point we forgot
start
about.
To finish. What?
April's mother. Because one of the souls removed the shadow effects that was on her, therefore removing her ability to walk again. And she detected that, and she was like, "Oh, April." So now she's a Shadowkin. How's that going to go? Because are they going to show the body of April to her mother and then show what's happened? Or, that's confusing. And what's going to happen with her? She's going to love her still? Or, that's really confusing.
Well, bear in mind that she is now the only Shadowkin in existence.
I know. Dear God. And does she have the full-fledged powers as well?
Possibly.
Oh, is she going to turn evil? I'm like that in everybody, aren't I? Turn everybody evil.
Very much.
I know.
But no, the writing, the continuity throughout the entire series has been amazing. Absolutely wonderful.
I wonder if there'll be a small link. I wonder if there'll be a small link in Doctor Who in the future about these Weeping Angels being on Earth.
Maybe
there'll be a little story, a little link at least, like a quote or two by the Doctor in future episodes.
But now that Clara has gone, there is no more linkage to Coal Hill.
Technically, no, yeah, there isn't, is there?
I thought that was a great idea, by the way, Cole Hill. Because you know who Cole Hill got set up by?
Who's that?
Well, no, not just set up by, but you know who originally... actually, were they teachers or were they heads? You know, William Hartnell's doctor?
Mm.
Ian and Barbara Chesterton?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who, I think, ran the school.
Ah.
There's a sign outside the building dedicated to their memory anyway, so I'm pretty sure there's some sort of relevance there. So yeah, all in all, absolutely fantastic. Now, our verdicts, John. Out of 10, what would you give this episode? Even though I probably know what you're going to give.
Well, due to the fact that the episode was completely centered around emotion, and they played that off quite brilliantly. The plot twists, the extensions to season 2, and fantastically, the governors, we've finally seen them, and the Weeping Angels. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a full 10.
Full 10? Brilliant. For me, no brainer. I'm going to give full 10. Yep.
Fantastic series, guys. I've absolutely enjoyed it. I didn't think I would. I thought that this was going to... I didn't like the idea of teenagers. I didn't like the idea of that Lincoln. But no, it's been played off brilliantly. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait for another series. It's something different. It's been something different that I've liked. So.
Yep, so until next time, folks. See you soon. Take care, and
goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
That is all we have for today, folks.
Join us again next week on another Saturday Geeks video to find out what adventure we embark on next.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to like and comment on the video below. Remember to subscribe so you can keep up to date with our latest videos.
Till next time.
Take care, stay safe, and remember,
let your geeky side out.
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip.